today we have to talk about Aster because there's actually huge news going on in Aster right now, and we are up 2.1%, and we actually lost a lot of holders as well, surprisingly. But we're going to talk about this. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Let's get straight into it. So the first thing I really want to start talking about is the numbers here. 2.1 billion in market cap, 748 million in trading volume, 2% up in the day, 6% up in the last week, 5% down in the last 2 weeks, and 43% up in the last month. So we're doing decent, I guess, on Aster, but this is kind of concerning, especially with the big news we just received. This says holders 174,385. But then when you look here yesterday, we had a whole of 182,476. So that's a little weird. That's a little weird. Let me know if you guys think that that's weird, because that's a lot of holders that we have just lost in such a short amount of time. Like 8,000 holders overnight. That's kind of big. And then not only that, we also have this. So Coinbase just announced that it's going to be listing Aster, which is huge. So they already put the contract address. So, they're already talking about it. So I guess people might be selling ahead of time, maybe thinking it's going to drop or something. I don't know. This is kind of interesting, but here it is right here. Assets on the BNB chain, Aster. They post everything that they list before they post it, so it doesn't come out of nowhere, and so they don't manipulate the market. But yeah, this is kind of a big deal. You can also do your airdrop thing if you want to, and I think it ends on the 14th. That's what it says here, November 14th. So if you want to do that, go ahead and do that. But other than that, everything with Aster seems good. Now let's look at the charts here though, because Aster's chart is very similar to Avantis, and I actually mentioned in the Avantis video the same thing that I'm noticing here with Aster. So you can kind of see it looks a little bit similar, not really, just a little bit, but it does look even more so similar than Bitcoin. And Bitcoin actually has a symmetrical triangle within a falling wedge. And that's pretty interesting, because if you come back here and look at Aster, Aster actually has a bearish or a bullish expanding triangle within a bullish expanding triangle. And this right here is the bullish expanding triangle down here at the bottom. So you can kind of see what it looks like there and on Aster. So it has two bullish expanding triangles, whereas Bitcoin has something different. So this is pretty interesting. But I did just now mention on Bitcoin that if we see Bitcoin going to the bottom side of this bearish symmetrical triangle, which is this pattern right here, that is the bearish symmetrical triangle, because we're coming in it from a downtrend. But anyways, if Bitcoin breaks down below this bearish symmetrical triangle here, that is at about 100K. If it goes below 99K and starts dropping down there, it's probably going to almost immediately go down to 85K. And if that happens, then we know that it'll probably take Aster down with it, along with everything else. Everything will start to drop. Now, maybe the Coinbase thing could save Aster, but the same still remains the same for Aster as it does with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin breaks 99K, it's dumping to 85K. If that happens, then we're looking for Aster to come down here to these lower levels around 80 cents, possibly even 71 cents or 60 cents. So a huge drop could happen pretty much if this happens. Now, we're also seeing a increase in selling on the MACD as well for Aster. So it's looking a little bit bearish right now because we got rejected up here and we got rejected up here. So that's two rejections, but it does look like the highs are starting to get higher. But we just got to wait and see what happens after all that. And then we can also see over here, the %R trend exhaustion shows the white line representing the short-term trend is completely dumping all the way down. And then the long-term trend, which is the blue line, is going down slower than the short-term trend, which means the short-term trend is going to probably reverse here and then cause the long-term trend to go back up halfway down or something like that. That's usually how it'll happen. but it doesn't always have to happen like that. Sometimes it could be like this, where just the short-term trend goes down and trades sideways until the long-term trend crashes along with it. So that could happen as well, and it'll look something like this, where the short-term trend crashes and then just goes sideways until the long-term trend finally drops all the way down, and then they both go up together simultaneously, just like how we have seen here. So there's a possibility of either one of those, but still, we don't have to go off of possibilities here. But it does look like we are having a lot of weakness inside of this market. So right now, everything's contingent upon Bitcoin. I'll keep you guys updated. But again, just watch the charts for Bitcoin. You don't even have to watch Aster, everybody. Like, guys, you do not have to watch Aster or your favorite crypto. Well, some of them, yeah. Because like the AI coins have broken away from the pack. So they're like doing their own thing. But so far, like Aster and everything else is still following Bitcoin. So what you really want to pay attention to is this. You don't want to see Bitcoin go below 99K. The second Bitcoin goes below 99K, I think it's going to have a very fast drop all the way down to 85K. Then I think it's going to have an immediate recovery back up to 100K, right? From 85K all the way back down, immediate recovery to like 93K, 95, and then the days after that, eventually back up to 100. So I think that could happen pretty soon, but we'll see if we break it. I think we do break this to the downside though. A bearish symmetrical triangle has a 54% win rate to the downside for people who are shorting. So I think that, you know, there is a high possibility that we see a drop here, and we could see a drop in Aster. So be extremely careful. Anything can happen at this point. And Trump can also come out and say something really good about the market, and then it'll pump. Like literally anything can happen. Right. But this is all I got for you guys today. Shout out to everybody out there. Hit the like button and subscribe. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this financial advice. Go ahead and become a member of the channel. All this good stuff, guys. And as always, I'll be back with another video.